All right, let's get started again. I was just checking the chat, and there were actually a couple of good questions. One, so maybe before we continue with Cytoscape, I want to jump back to the dashboard and show you that quickly. So the question was about like, can we like overlay different files? And that was a little bit what I indicated was like this was that USI1, USI2 thing. So yeah, I want to go back and now also to showcase you how that URL here might be useful. So let's assume that was in the paper, right? And then I'm just gonna copy paste this here in a new tab. And then hopefully this should now visualize exactly what I was looking at, right? So all the information to build this is in this long URL string. Okay, so now, yeah, we have here our LCMS map and like the XIC. So now a question could be, okay, how did this differentiate between my two different groups, right? So now what I can do quickly here, instead of like going to like the dataset explorer, I can like modify this USI strings. Because technically they're just like specifying the massive data set and then the folders where a particular file is located, right? So if you look closely, it's just a file path. So what I can do is I simply copy that and make a new one in here. And I know that the file names were replicate 1, replicate 2, and replicate 3, right? So I could just like rename them. And then now technically, it should like load these 3 files in. So now in my XIC options, you will see that actually it also directly visualized the XICs of like the 3 files. And if I zoom in now in detail, I will see, oh, nice, they actually have like all the same shape. So this was a internal standard, right? And I see, oh, they have like nice similar chromatographic shapes, no retention time shift. So that is a very good indicator. So now I could, of course, then also ask the question, okay, how does that differentiate to like my other samples? And now I know that the other samples were just called M, right? For example, so I can like copy and paste like this 3 USIs and now just change here in that string the file name to M instead of what was it? A45M, right? So again, I can do this for all 3 replicates. And now I should also hopefully see those files then here visualized as XICs. And now if that would be kind of like biological condition 1 versus biological condition 2, I could compare a little bit like the peak areas of this particular feature that I named in the USI. Yeah, again, it's taking some time perhaps like to load in like the new files. So let's give it a couple of seconds, but yeah, after a while, nicely, I should see now, okay, there's now this additional file. And I don't know why it did not load all 3. Let's see. So yeah, technically it should be 6 in total. And then, you know, I see also, oh, what's the difference between like the 2 groups? I don't know why it only loaded 2 now. Let's see. Okay, I'll troubleshoot that in a second. But one thing I wanted to also show you is that there is a different way of splitting this in the XIC windows. So you can, for example, here say, okay, you know, XIC grouping by MZ or by file. And if I would select that, you know, then it would split this in different windows. Now here indeed it only showed. Let me check what's wrong here. Oh, that's CCMS peak. Ah, that's why it probably took so long. Interesting. Yeah, maybe it's not fully processed yet, but actually, yeah, let's do that. Right, okay, I'll just start a new one from the Explorer. Right, so if I would go now to just a regular peak folder, not the CCMS peak. And I would select here, I don't know, the 45s. And here in the second list, the, let's say, M samples. And visualize it. What was the mass? Then yeah, after a couple of seconds, once it's loaded, hopefully I will see all 6 files, and I can like display them separately or overlay it or whatever I want. Okay. Cool. Say what? Oh. Oh, okay. That was not what I wanted. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna close this because I'm getting confused. Well. All right, so let's start this again. Go to the Dataset Explorer. I'm gonna now filter actually both lists. So lab 1, I select here the peak. A45 is kind of like my endpoint. And then in the second group, oh wait, that was the second group. And now here, when I scroll down in my comparison group, right? So here I would take the M samples. Okay. And now hopefully I selected it right. Okay, let's check. Lab 1, A45M and M. Okay, now loaded, and then let's take the mass. Again, we change this to ppm. And then hopefully within a couple of seconds, it will now display the XIC of all. Okay. While it's loading, who I saw while walking through, walking up, that a couple of people had this on their computer. Who managed to open like some of the files you processed before in the dashboard now? All right, cool. And you got like XICs from some of the compounds you were interested in. Okay. And were you happy with the chromatograms, or was there kind of like a couple of warning signs that might, you know, indicate some analytical problems? Okay. Yeah. So really, again, like I think before discussing something, you know, as a, I don't know, like a new biomarker, I would like really look at that. Okay, and then now here again, so I have the XICs from those samples, right? And between both groups, you know, it should look pretty nice, although we see a significant difference. So now it's interesting because we spiked in the same amount in both samples, but yet there is some clear difference. So again, this can be due to like some ion suppression, you know, or like some other matrix effect, because obviously the algae sample at time point 45 had like way more material than like just the ocean sample. Okay, so then, yeah, again, if you want to like discuss this somehow, you can download the plot here from the box plot also as SVG. If you don't want SVG and you say, oh no, I actually want this right for a presentation in pixel mode, then you can change here rendering options to PNG, and then also download this as PNG. So, yeah. Cool. Okay. Before we go to Cytoscape now, are there any more questions about the dashboard? Yes.
Is it possible to export one of the MS2 spectra from dashboard to NGF file so that we can find out the molecular formula by slide?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I think you should be able to navigate to a USI. Let me get an MSMS here. So there's this View Metabolomics USI, and that should now open that other view that we showed you the other day for the visualization of the mirror plots, right? So that's kind of like a viewer inside of a viewer. So if you want to get like really nice MS spectra displayed, then I would recommend you that one. And I don't know if there's a direct MGF export. You can download it as JSON. I don't know if that is helpful for you, but or you can also download it as CSV, right? So that probably brings you close to an MGF. Let's see how the structure would look. Yeah. So that's almost MGF. So you would just need to add on a header and then you're at MGF. Or do you, what tool do you want to use it for?
For molecular.
Yeah.
LC version, there's a feature finding results and export button. Wouldn't that generate exactly the table you would want for all the features that were found?
Yes, in the dashboard here.
Yeah. You scroll down. It's only in the LC version.
So I didn't do feature finding here yet. What I can export here is the peak areas from the XIC I generated, right? So this is this export button here. Because what it also does on the fly, it actually integrates like this full chromatograms. Now, if you don't specify a retention time window here, it will just integrate the entire thing. So it does not work if you have like different isobars. But let's say we have a clear window here from 4.5 to, I don't know, 4.8. So I could specify this here. Now, what it will do is it will jump in exactly that window, and then I can export the peak areas from that manually integrated window down here. I would assume that if I turn on feature finding, you know, let's do this high thresholds. That you can also export this from here, but I think it's very rare that you want to do feature finding only on one sample, right? So what you would typically do is you would find your settings here, use this only for exploration, and then run like a feature finding job with like the Proteus save thing. And then actually this should be done by now. If I look at my jobs, oh no, it's on proteomics 2, right? So yeah, here LC MZ-2, it's done. So if I click now here on the result, I can you know, view the features either here in the list, or I can download the data. If I hit here and download, it will download a zip folder that contains the CSV and MGF file. So that might be also another way you can get to your MGF. But then this is processed from with feature finding. And then yeah, here just download all, you know, and then oh, it's still downloading. And then yeah, I can extract this and then, you know, move on, or way more, let's see where it is, way more convenient. There's this button, analyze with FBMM. So because like the feature table and the MGF are in there, you know, I just give it one click and then move on and throw it into the feature-based molecular networking workflow to then, you know, end up already with the cytoscape network. I can specify at the beginning a metadata table. So I have not done that, right? So like that might not be like very useful for now. So if you do that as a full part of your pipeline, then you have to add your metadata. All right, cool. So yeah, the download is finished now. So if I extract this, then you will see here the MZ-mine output files, you know, and these are exactly what we did here the other day. It gives you already the series MS2 and then the features. This would be for GMPS MS2 as MGF. And it also already gives you a batch file with exactly the settings that were used for like running it. So now if you say, okay, that was I don't know, not fast enough, I want to do it on my own computer, you could download MZ-mine 2.53, import this batch file, and then you have exactly the same settings to run it also locally. Yep.